Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Deepak Kumar Singh from Amity University, Patna, and I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you to this enlightening and enriching session. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our extreme guest, Dr. Kumar Pallo, Associate Professor at Cape Peninsula University of Technology, South Africa. And today we are honored to have him here to shed light on the captivating topic, which is about the Castle of Good Hope, South Africa, and to inspire us all to engage in meaningful discussions about monumental heritage structures. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Pallo sir for sparing his invaluable time to be with us today. And so, without further ado, I am delighted to invite him to join us virtually and share his expertise about this topic. So, sir, the digital platform is now all yours, sir.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you so much. Let me first share my screen and then I
Yes, sir.
will start my session. And please let me know once you start seeing my screen. Okay,
Yes, sir.
just a moment. So let me know means if my screen is visible to you
Yes, sir. Screen is visible. Yes,
and
yes,
my
yes. Your
PPT is
slides,
also fine.
slides is. Yeah, yes, sir. It is fine, sir.
Slide share is okay, right?
Yes, sir.
And my lasers and everything is okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
So, good afternoon, everyone. And I like to express my gratitude to Dr. Deepak for this kind invitation to speak on the topic of engineering design for social change. Let me take my pen so it will be more appropriate. So, yeah, this is a topic which I'm going to take on the Castle of Good Hope, which you are seeing in the screen as a background. And I am working in partnership with the South African Heritage Resource Agency. So there are the government undertaking which take care of heritage buildings in South Africa, not buildings as sites and everything they look for. Further, I would also like to thank HOD and Director Institute for providing all the administrative support for this current talk. And if we talk about engineering design for social change, it is a little bit different than what we expect to be being an engineer, right? So basically, once we talk about social changes in here, we talk about some innovative solutions, right? So we need some innovative solutions, and that addresses the you can say societal change which is happening due to the engineering efforts which we are putting in this. And further we look for like positive impact on the society basically, and we also see if it is also negatively impacting, right? So we need to minimize the negative impact, and we also have to see how the society is going to impact it. And in the next stage is also how the ecology, that is a broad, very broad domain, and definitely any engineering concept which we introduce in the society which will also impact our ecology. That is not today's discussion, but I will just give little highlights on those, right? And definitely all these things we will see how the technology help us to improve, to preserve such old heritage structures, and even in the modern structures, if we are going to involve those such things, how we are going to incorporate those things. So the outline of my presentation will be definitely start with the introduction part. Sorry, I think, yeah. So it will start with the introduction part, right? Then I will take Castle of Good Hope as a case study, and it can be applied to the any study, means in your area as well, if you want to do that. We will see about the historical background, and we will see on the transformation and preservation, specifically towards the material property. We will also look into the impact on society. I think these two will be coming together, and then I will show you that how this is a very basic experimental thing can develop a material health card for the building or structures to preserve them. Then finally, I will put some conclusions and some recommendation for the future work, right? So that is all the background of this particular talk. So if we see this Castle of Good Hope, which is, you can see top view as a pentagon, and even if you see here as a wall, which I'm showing you is initially made of mud, and it is an excellent example of engineering design during 1600, right? So, and it is a defensive fortress of like 17th century, and it is a wonderful example of Dutch architecture, right? So Dutch people were first arrived in South African coast, and yes, they built this castle with mud. That was the initial material which has been used, and presently it is a reconciliation and heritage which like promoting to understand the cultural value of this particular structures, and also it is used for the educational purpose. So if we look into the history of this castle, this is a second fort in the Cape Peninsula, and it was built during 1669 to 1679, and built by Dutch East India Company, the company which also came to India, right? So that is that they took a hop on this particular place, and then they sailed towards the east, more east from this place. So this historic building has a pentagon shape, and it's made of like initially it was mud, and later on I will show you that how they have put stone. If you see at the bottom, this is a stone, and then later on brick, and then yes, these are all uh, tell you about some historical changes which took place in South African context, right? So at present, this house is a like place of administration, and some part of this building was used for as a military headquarter of Western Cape Command, and it is also open for a tourist purpose. So we will look at how engineering design play a pivotal role in this evaluation and fostering social changes uh, through historical preservation and educational initiatives. So let's go with this particular 5 Bastion Castle of Good Hope, and I took this from this source. And yes, even on this source, if you see, if you want to read more on this, they have given a very detail on how this castle was built. So as I mentioned that this was built during 17th century by Dutch East India Company, and the person was Riebeck, Van Riebeck, in 1662, and it was further succeeded by Wagner, right, who further improved this. And what has happened, the castle was initially, I told you, was mud, but there was a rumor that there is a war between British and Dutch is going to be there. And in order to protect this castle, as it was mud, they was in fear that British was going to capture this particular place. So look, the next step which start changing this particular structure is they started building this as a fort with the stone uh, as an initial course, which I have shown you. And they also built these 5 bastions. So if you see this, this is a bastion, right? And they are used for like putting their instrument, or you can say putting their armors over there, right, to in order to protect them. And they built all along this wall, they built one more layer of stone so that it can protect for any attack, right, during that period of time. And the other part of this history is, if you see the it was planned around like, now it is not in that shape, but it is planned around like all along the water was there, right? So it was there is a one pathway which enters, and this can be removed to protect this fort. But you can see now they have built a lot of things because of the city development, and again this engineering things has changed the entire demographical things, and as well as the surroundings of this particular fort, right? So if we talk about these 5 bastions, so if you see, these are the Lar Dam, right? Orange, Nasasu, then Quetzalcoatl, then Buran. So these are the name, like main title of the uh, kings of Prince of Orange, right? So these are the titles which were given to the kings, Prince of Orange in the Netherlands, and they put all these bastion in their name, right? So the wall height is almost around 10 meters, and definitely once the Britishers came in, if you see this entire scenario of block B, block F, block G, this was built during the like you can say 3 different countries has encroached. Like if you see, the first was Dutch, then the French arrives in, and then the Britishers came in. So if you see the different part of this particular castle, you will find the how the engineering things are changing with the time. So it started in 16th century with the mud, and then stones came in, then mortars was introduced, and then if you see the Britishers time, you will see the change of the stone, like brickwork at the top of this particular castle. So let's move towards the next slide. So this is what I want to show you, that initially this everything was mud. Then they placed this stone on the top of mud, right? Then I think during the Britishers, they built this particular brick wall all along the castle. That is another set of changes. And then even during the Dutch rule, there is a slate roof were flat, and then once the Britishers came in, they start building the pitched roof over it, right? So this is in terms of um, engineering, that what they have done with the structures, but how these changes were made in the context of South Africa and Africa as a whole, right? So what has happened, while they started building things here, they started bringing like craftsmen, people as a slaves to this place, and by this they start changing the demography of this particular region. So yes, the concept of building a castle at this place has a start changing the overall scenario of South African context. So the people were brought from Southeast Asia, then India, then other places like you can say Africa, like as a whole. They bring all those people from various places, and that start changing the, you can say, everything, like cultural things of this place, and impacted in terms of both way, I can say, because they bring people from other place, so they definitely treated as a slave during that time. And then they also The positive part is there, the cultural mixing of cultures was evolved. And then there is a new development towards the various aspect, like this area got developed in terms of food, in terms of roads, in terms of other thing, because Europeans started all their you can say technological aspect to this place, and then roads were built, dams were built. So these are all, you can say, positive impact due to the whatever the engineering design we started with, right? So now in this castle, we have like church, bakeries, workshop, living quarters, office, cells, and numerous other facilities. Like, so this castle start acting as a, you can say, center of hub for all the shopping and other aspect for the people who are staying nearby. So let's go to the next part. So next part, if I say transformation and preservation, so uh, it's started with, you can say, the defensive fortress to the symbolic of social change, and that brings several factors. Like, so if we start looking to the each factor of transformation and preservation, so is changing the political landscape. So that is one of the major aspect of any country, because it is with the way the political scenario is, your history could be written in that way. So that is what uh, it is all about, right? So changing political landscape. So once you bring, like, Dutch was there, they bring castle there, and then they started changing the things according to their wish, right? So South Africa underwent significant political changes during that 20th century. I think it ended the apartheid and the transition of democracy. And this changes create a new national identity of this castle, right? And they want to re-evaluate the historical symbol of this castle, because the castle was treated as a place where the slaves were kept, and hierarchy was there between the people who ruled them. And now once they are achieved their freedom, I think they want to revisit towards knowing that it's a place of unity, where people of different group were slave, like Indian was there, then Southeast Asian people were there, then African people were there. So they started seeing this as a place that these all groups were united, right? So that is one aspect. Then the reconciliation efforts, and that is in post apartheid. There is a strong, you can say, emphasis on reconciliation amongst different racial ethnic groups in South Africa. So the castle transformation was a part of broader effort to promote unity and healing them. Like, whatever the past was there, they started trying to improve with that past, and they want to make new memories, like this is the place where our ancestors has given a lot of effort to make us free and to live in a free South Africa or Africa, right? Further, if you look into the other aspect, is your tourism and cultural uh, values. So these structures also serve like earning of money. Like, if you see many countries in like Japan, if you see Kyoto, they have made most of their heritage into their business model, and they what they're trying to do is they are started with their either as a museum, or they started whatever the old structures or buildings are there, they started providing as a hotel or Airbnb, something like that they have started doing. So they started promoting, and they started to preserve those structures through the earning of these structures, like the one which they put in the business model. So that is what you have to recognize the potential, economic potential of that particular structures for tourism purpose, and you should add a value of culture to those structures in order to people can revisit them, Like now the Dutch and Britishers visit South Africa only to see what their ancestors has made there. And even people start staying at their places where they want their ancestors live, right? The area, the place where their ancestors live. So I think that is a good value to the economy if you promote that aspect of tourism, right? So uh, this Castle of Good Hope is a very prominent site, and that is what its add values. And this gives an opportunity to show the rich history and diversity of South Africa. Further, the architectural adaptation is also one of the important aspect. So, and here the engineering parts comes into picture. We need to maintain, or we need to preserve the authenticity of that particular castle. Means if those buildings are quite old and you start treating with the modern material, the authenticity will lose on those structures. And definitely we need to make them look as similar to what they were in the past. And that plays a very good role for the engineer to evaluate those structures, and even the architectural people to preserve those architectural things, like whatever the style was adapted during the past. And that also give you a very clear indication that how the um, engineering has been progressed through time. Like if you see, even if you see the modern time, the uh, if you remember in 80s we used to do the working stress method, right? And before that we were mostly the structure which were designed, mostly we try to make them in the compression side, not in the tension side, right? So we improve towards now the limit state, and now the next stage is probability based. Now you need to know that what is the design life of your structures, and based on that design life, you start putting the probability, like if you want 50% safety, if you want 75% safety during the life course of 100 years, then what should be the engineering design in that. So that is what this uh, architectural adaptations comes into picture. So we need to preserve these structures more authentically, and that's what study is required. And many people are doing on the research paper on the architectural aspect and the material aspect, and then even they have start preserving their 3D models in order to restore them if any damage has occurred during the earthquake, fire, etc. Right? So with the time you can start a modification, create more space for the museum, exhibition, educational program, while preserving historical elements. So this is where we can bring engineering. It's not about only civil engineering, it's all about, like we can give a touch of a digital aspect like electronics, computer science, IT can involve in this particular role to make more, you can say, authentic to the people who can visit these places. Further, there could be educational initiatives, and we can it can be introduced with the various educational program. Like people like at the Castle of Good Hope, they start the rituals of putting the armors outside on a certain time, and they show to the tourists that what people used to do in the past. So they replicate the past and try to teach them that how things were there in the past, and they know about their history, that how this castle works during the past. So that can be bring to most of your sites in order to transform them for the preservation purpose. So these initiative definitely invites visitors and fosters a sense of unity through their knowledge sharing. So if you bring all these knowledge, so whatever happened in the past, although it was bad, but I think you need to take a good part from that, is it united the people because of that past, right? Further, if you see one more factors comes is your community involvement. So you need to study that how you can involve all the stakeholders, and that comes with the local community in the castle to transform, ensuring that becomes a place of relevance and pride for that particular nation. So it's not about only South Africa. It can be done. Like if you visit Europe, etc., they have preserved their heritage so well that that the people they earn a lot with that particular thing, and those heritage are self-sustainable, right? They earn money, they repair, they do all of those things with the help of whatever money they receive from that particular thing. So whenever you have certain heritage or certain buildings or certain sites, definitely you have to preserve them, and you need to prepare certain business model in order to make them like start earning money, so that their repair and maintenance could be started with their own earned money, right? So if you see along the coast of entire South Africa, there is a like huge number of shipwreckage was there. And what they start doing, that they start exploring, although a huge amount of money is required to explore those things, because you have to dive deep into the sea. And they started naming them, and they started digitally locating them, and they are sharing these details with the people, like Europeans mostly, and the people who sail around this borders. So many people are interested and try to come, and they started these as a tourism. They take them towards the sea and they show them those wreckage. So yeah, those can be very well established, right? Then the next thing is how you present them these internationally, because all these structures are important, valuable. And if we talk about Castle of Good Hope, transformation also had a significance once you make it internationally. It did become a symbol of South Africa's progress towards inclusive and reconciled society, and it attract like many people, or even UNESCO, or these all organization generally comes and help in terms of preserve them, or transform them to make to add some value to these structures. And yes, you need governmental support, you need strong policies, as well as fund to maintain these structures. And definitely, if you have a good business model, if it is start you can say producing money, so definitely it can preserve, or it can be preserved for long for the future generation. And definitely means you need to also shift the public perception. So over a time, people initially, I can tell you about this particular structure, because people used to think that this is a place where their ancestors were slave and they were tortured like anything. So but the perceptions can be changed in sense, although those things has happened. But what does it did is they bring lot of different community together, and they united, and the freedom was achieved. So we need to look positive aspect, and with those positive aspect in an engineering way, we can transform these structures. Further, if we see how these structures impact the society, as I told you in the previous session, like the entire South Africa, that's what the Cape Town is called mother city, because from this city, the transformation of, you can say, Africa has started once the Dutch has arrived. And yes, it has impacted badly to the society. And the very, you can say, the very major impact was the colonial expansion. So from here, the first the Dutch India East India Company has arrived, then the French has arrived, and then the Britishers took this country from them. And then yes, the operation was there, and then many slave and others were bought, because Africa is rich in minerals and also. wherever these things are there, definitely people start coming and trying to attack the ethnic groups who are placed there. So so European colonialism in the region was present. This event play a pivotal role in shaping the subsequent colonial history in of not only South Africa, but you can say entire Africa. Then once they arrive, definitely what has happened, the trade and economic start changing. So that is what your once castle has established. They started with the trade, like whatever things were available here, they started sending to Europe or Southeast Asia. So the castle was established as a, you can say, trading post, and its presence contribute to the growth of trade network, economic activities in the region. And this has a repercussion on African society as trade dynamics were altered, because if you see, if this could not be there, the people could not travel from one place to another place. So this trade has changes, like I can say it was impacted hugely to the African continent and even to the Southeast Asia, because the people has been taken from their home, bring to this unknown places during those period of time to make like to do work, to build a castle, to build a railway tracks, etc. So and uh, and these started changing the demographical feature of that particular place. And then your cultural exchange, and different cultural groups were there, so they started like exchange between European and indigenous African and yes Southeast Asian uh, is often asymmetrical, I think, and because of that they all have different ideas, different food. So and if you see this one castle building a post can start exchanging a lot of things in the surroundings. So whenever you design anything, we need to think about the surrounding. Even if you see the modern examples, like if we are introducing 3G, 4G, 5G, all these frequencies which are there in the environment needs to be tested for all the you can say entire ecology. It's not about human being, it's all about like looking into the smallest species which were present in the surrounding, right? So even if you are constructing any structures, we didn't think about the ecosystem of that particular, even the societal, like we displace many people because of our roads, because of our bridges, because of our dam constructions. And that is what the engineering design impact, and that is what if you construct any dam, you shift many of the many villages down from that area. So you need to minimize those impact. Means yes, that is the best side, but you need to see how you can minimize those impact to the society. So this is how the engineering design works. Then conflict and displacement, definitely once this castle was built, military was placed, and then once military was placed, definitely wherever these things happens, it start conflict in the region, right? So that impacted the indigenous community, were often displaced and subjected to impact of these conflicts. So they go for war, they take these as a slaves for their work. So definitely it's also impacted the indigenous. But yes, the once they got the freedom, definitely a lot of infrastructures were available, and then you can say that it's positively that the road network, they were aware of many things which European brings, and even the things which were taken from the Southeast Asia, those all things you got it at one place, right? Then further, if we see that also impact the social hierarchy, and yes, it was there, we were all aware of that. So one caste is different than other one. This all comes as a hierarchy, and to rule, the Europeans and the Britishers always try to divide into races so that people, the other one feels superior than the another one, and that is what they want, and that is how they rule. So that is what this social hierarchy was bring into the system. Then if we move further, the again it also impacted the, you can say, tourism, as I mentioned you. So people from the various places comes to visit, see, and definitely it will grow your economy, revenues, and the people who are there, definitely their lifestyle will improve. Further, with this, it's also brings awareness, like the castle bring awareness to the young generations, that how these things were built and how it has impacted and how their ancestors were involved in all those things. Further, it's now building a international relations, because now people have went back, but once they went back, they have the impression like Dutch is still having a touch with the South African Heritage Resource Agency, and I'm also part of that particular meeting. And in those meetings, they give funding to these people to preserve this heritage marks which their ancestor has built. So you see, in this way, the international relations still exist because of these design which were made in past, like 300, 400 years back. So the castle history and its role in colonialism have international significance and influencing discussion and relations between African nations and former colonial power. And if we summarize it all, um, building of Castle of Good Hope in South Africa had reaching consequences that extended beyond the immediate location, and it is now served as a part of like trade, cultural conflict, social structures in African, like South Africa and Africa as a whole. So this is what it impact the societal thing. So I'm just bringing you some engineering that the preservation of this, and this is very basic one so that everyone can understand. And even you can do in your nearby structures. And this is a small part of research which you can do in your surrounding with very basic instrumental setup which you have in your institution. So even we are in the stage of development of similar kind of material, definitely that need a broader, or you say in-depth understanding of your material, and you need to know your material in depth. So, but basically for basic understanding of your material, which you want your contractor or engineer can use to preserve this structure, I think you need to develop certain catalog for whatever the materials are available in your surrounding. So that is the very initial step which you can do in your surrounding if you have any old or monumental structure, because you see the material advances has changed with time. So if you keep the catalog of those changes in your area, that will definitely help you to understand how the engineering has changed with time and how the material has improved over the time to make better engineering structures, right? So if you see this in this part of, if you see, this is still in good conditions, but the material on this side, and if you see on another side of the wall of the Castle of Good Hope, these are treated with the, you can say, new material, and that new material is nothing but your PCC, like we have a cement over there. And what has happened, these walls generally have a lime mortar, and which has used seashell, etc., to make those things. And what has happened, the lime has property to breathe in, take, absorb moisture content, react, and even during dry season it expel those moisture. So these walls are a little bit porous when they are designed in the past. But once you treat them with the cement is not having that property. And what has happened, the inside material, like these are very thick wall, and definitely I told you it is made of mud, and then the outer was built with the stone, and that was fixed with the lime mortar. And if you start building with the cement, what has happened, they didn't marry each other, right? So what has happened, during the wet season the moisture doesn't entered, and in the dry season the moisture means there is little moisture entered from the top wherever there is open, but it doesn't breathe properly, and what has happened, it suffocated the structures. And the resultant is these whatever material are there, they started coming out from these part of the structures. So selection of restoration mortar for heritage building, it's very challenging, and we need to treat them like the way uh, your doctor treats you. Like he take proper x-ray, proper blood test, and then only he gives you proper medicine to heal your body. Similarly, for the structures, if you are going for restoration or preservation purpose, you need to know what type of material it was used in the past. You can't use a very you can say very modern material, which is very good in strength and everything. But if you try to go with the older one, maybe the thermal coefficients and everything of that material doesn't match with the new one, and then their war started in, right? So we need to be very careful while we are treating those structures. So like we did very basic test in order to prepare a material card, and so those basic tests can be your cohesion, microscopic, then particle size distribution, and then whatever you studied like wet chemical analysis during your undergraduate or during your 12th standard, that can be used to prepare a nice characterization of the material. So here I've just shown quickly because of time constraint. I've just shown the very basic test, and that is all based on the availability. There are several factors which you have to include while you are planning your test. So first, see what you have with you. That is very basic thing. And I know whatever I have shown it here, most of you are having in your labs. But if you have some advanced equipment as well, you can use them for your work, right? So this is what we did. And then I'm just showing a very few samples. We collected almost, you can say 20, 25 samples from different location. I told you like it was mud, it was stone, then lime mortar, then you have a material from the British era, you have material from the Dutch, you have a material from French era. So these are all material, and this whatever I'm showing is a microscopic image of mortar, right? And it indicates that the particles are of zero point 0.5 to 25 mm of both on Castle of Good Hope, and even we went to the Robin Island, so that is a nearby. So almost similar kind of material has been used there, and most of these mortars are uniform to well graded. Further, I we did all these aesthetic, physical, and mineralogical property and chemical property. So now we started like developing similar kind of mortar, but this is a very basic chart you can prepare for each location in your structures. And the next one is you prepare a digital model and you try to insert these property on the digital model. So any side of the wall, if it is repairable, you just go to that digital model and you can click and get the property. Either you can supply to your contractor that look, this is the very basic property. I don't know whether you can see this part, like if I characterize this particular site, which is I think SK1. So it is the binder is slightly hydraulic. Aggregate is white coarse sand, additives is seashell, B by A ratio is 0.25. And if we talk about soluble salt, it is carbonated material high in sulfate and chloride with trace of nitrate. So this you can get with a very basic titration in your wet chemical analysis in your lab if you don't have XRD or XRF. Color you can we have those equipment which defines the color, but by eyes you can define it. And if you want to more precisely define the color, it is a colorimeter. I think it's not that costly instrument which you can purchase it, and you can give a nice note for this particular part of this structure. So in total, I just want to say that means in nearby region, you can take up some of your site. You can do such test, and definitely this test will help you to improve the lifespan of your structure, because you see those structures are standing for like important structures standing for like 300, 400 years, and and still they are continuing. So imagine the way those structures were constructed, right? Further, this work was done by one of my master's student, Miss Loke, and now she is also in the next step is she's in the development stage, and she's now, I think, already performed all the advanced tests, and she's doing PhD under me right now. So what I want to conclude this with this talk is if we talk about engineering design, we see what are the gaps in heritage oblique modern structural, right? So we need to highlight a significant gap in the field of structural engineering and heritage structure conservation, particularly. We need to see what additional things needs to be added in this particular structure in order to improve it, right? Further means I think most of the part in the world we are these structures are degraded uh, because due to we are not doing a very comprehensive research and we don't have such an idea on these structures to preserve it, right? Even in the modern time, whatever research we are doing, we are seeing on the human perspective. But the suggestion is all these engineering design is going to impact on the social changes. Like you start moving from one place to another place. Like if some cities develop very fast and the job creation is there, so that impact, like you bring a lot of people from other part of the world or country to that particular place. Even if in your city if some mall is constructed, you see it brings a lot of people from various, so it start changing your social scenario of that particular place. And further, if we are more uh, like not careful enough, we are also changing the ecology, right? So this is another domain where I always speak on this, and we request all the engineers that whenever you design something, right, there are two different parameters which needs to be considerate while we are finalizing our designs. So that is your social, and another one is your ecological. So social is morely on the human aspect, but once we call on the ecological aspect, it take care of entire species in that particular region, right? So we need to be very careful. Like if we are building some, if we are dumping somewhere like wetland, or we are just trying to fill that wetland, that is not a great idea, right? The idea is like you see what is the ecology which is there in that wetland. You can't like you can't take all the ecology, but at least a sample of ecology can be similarly scale it down and preserve it in the neighborhood, right, wherever that is. Like if you are building a making a building and there is some pond, I suggest scale it down, build one pond, bring all those species which you are trying to vanish from that place, and try to preserve that ecology. So that is what engineering design impact your social things as well as your ecological things. So whenever you are going to go for such things, always think about all the aspect of engineering design. Further, I will recommend that whenever you are doing certain aspect, you need to see what are the you educate people, right? You should have some educational program whenever there is a engineering design. Whenever there is, means you educate people. Whenever you are building a bridge or you're displacing people, you go there and you should have some concrete justification in order to make the people aware that, look, this design is going to help you, basically, right? So that is what you need to make them understand. You need to collaborate with them. You need to collaborate with the various institutions. You take all the stakeholder into account, and then you can move on. You need to do the comprehensive, I'm just talking about the structural assessment, but I will say that it should be comprehensive on engineering aspect. And then that comprehensiveness should include the social and ecological aspect. Definitely for all these, it's not about engineering. You need people from all the domain. That is what we need, a interdisciplinary research. And then we also have to see what are the immediate way to address all those particular issues in this. And further, I would like to thank you with this note. Preserving the past is not just about safeguarding building, but about safeguarding the stories, the memories, and the essence of who we are as a civilization. So thank you for your patiently listening. You people are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. And just you told about us that how we go for the engineering design, and we think about the social changes, we think about the society as well as the ecology. So thank you so much for this session. Further, if anyone has any query, you can raise your hand and I can unmute that person, and you can ask anything about this topic to the Pallava sir. Anyone?
So I always say either you understood everything or you just you saw and you got nothing from this. So if you have any questions, anything, you can go ahead. You can have open discussions. We can discuss on this. We are we means we you can say with last 1 year we have started this social aspect, because this idea came only from one of the person visited from University of Pittsburgh to our place. And definitely all the engineering design, whatever we are doing, it's all related to everything. And I always says engineer is after like God and then engineers. That is what I statement in my class. So you see, we God has created us. Definitely as engineer, we are creating this entire world. Either you take electronic engineer, you take civil engineer, mechanical engineer. So while we are creating something, if you see, God has think a lot that how he's created a human being, brain, eyes, nose, very perfectly. Everything is in place nicely. So as an engineer, we need to be very, very good in that. Like we need to see how socially it is going to impact, and how, means in a broader sense, ecologically your design is going to impact. So if you add all these values to your design will definitely will be very good, and definitely could be accepted in all the levels. So that is my end words to you, right? Thank you.
Further, I want to add one thing. If anyone has any query, I'm just writing my email ID in the chat box. So further, we can collaborate or we can talk about this topic. And sir, your guidance is always we want. And as you know that we have already worked in this area. I was already supervised by you during our time in Allahabad. Now it is Prayagraj.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
yes, sir. So
Definitely,
I
Deepak, I know you very well. So that's what like we are planning for long this session. Somehow we managed this time. Like if I
yes, sir.
remember, we started in April about when we have to go for this. But yes, now it
Yes,
has been done. I hope it has been fruitful for everyone. So if you need any help, you can write directly to me as well. Yeah, like I'm available. Like if you search me on Google, you will find my email ID and all. So I'm
yes.
open to you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you all the participants who have joined. Thank you so
Yes,
much, sir.
thank you all
Thank
the
you.
participants. You people are awesome to listen me patiently. That is a very like good part. I know listening is very challenging. I don't know whether how much interesting it was, but yeah, I try to make it little interesting so that you should understand. Like as an engineer, like your future, like you can say I'm becoming past. Deepak is present, and you people are future, right? So so you need to just see and you have to take care of this mother earth. I always take it like Vasudev Kutumbakam is our motto. So we need to fulfill this earth, right? Thank you very much, Deepak. Thank you, everyone.
Thank, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.